Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Just to set the vibe in the suit, my neighbor's truck across the way, they've attached a Woody doll to the back, like it's hanging on. Currently trying to not cry this entire episode, because that's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
That is wholesome and gorgeous, yeah. Maybe it'll ground us, because we're going to talk about some sad things.
Yeah. Living in a neighborhood with elementary school kids, it's just...
Yeah, that's elite. Yeah.
It's just the best. Sometimes when they just, like, are screaming, you know? I mean, it's all, like, joy, right? But when they just, like...
Sure.
Drive their bikes across the way just screaming, it's a little bit of a nuisance. But, like, that shit is that good shit.
Yeah.
We love wholesome energy in here. We will need it to counter this energy. I completely agree.
Yeah.
This episode was... It was... I mean, not to be too on the nose, but it was a sucker punch, I will say.
A little cross promotion.
TM.
Here? Okay, I see you.
I was expecting it to be a little more like, I don't know, like a little more Full House energy. A little bit more like 6 p.m. Catherine causing a ruckus kind of thing. Which it was. Don't get me wrong. We did have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But it was more just pain.
Yeah. What if it was just like a B episode, like a little filler episode? Catherine's just like in the middle of the night being like, oh, sorry, I was just like fucking shit up in the kitchen. It's like I wanted to see her
yeah, like
just do regular shit.
Like studio audience laughter. Like that's the shit I want.
Yeah. Yeah, give me that canned laughter. And get these people into some hijinks, because I'm getting a little sick and tired of all the pain that's happening right now.
Like, damn it, Catherine left the deep freezer open. What the fuck?
Yeah, now all of our little blood packages are, like, you know, room temp.
What the fuck? Catherine took my dead ring off while I was sleeping and then opened all the blinds, so now I'm getting stung by light. And then canned studio laughter. That would be the best filler episode. Are you kidding?
Yeah, and like a little title card that it's like, Catherine.
Yes, no!
Again, you know? Sitcom.
Get me in the writer's room.
Yeah. I know this has been off the air for a decade.
Let me in.
If you let us cook, we can do something really special here.
Instead of an episode where it's like, oh, we can't let these black characters live.
Sure, right.
Writers, let us in, please.
Hey, let us retcon some shit.
No, literally. Sometimes you remember that this episode, or like this show is set in Virginia, and you're like, what if we just bring these black characters in and then we kill them?
Yeah, what if we just really lean into the kind of gross vibes that are happening in this setting and just really twist the knife?
I fucking hate it so bad. Hey, welcome to Into the Twilight.
Hey, we're here.
Where we watch a television show that I didn't expect to get emotionally invested into.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be something where we could just roast every week and be like, wow, isn't it cheesy? Here I am crying in the fucking club.
Yeah. This keeps happening to us, and I think maybe it's an us problem.
Yeah.
Because even like Vampire Academy, we were like, ha ha ha, and then it was like, wait, nope, not ha 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 anymore. I feel things. Fuck. You know?
I mean...
Sorry I'm an empath, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry
like...
we have cancer placements, you know? Like, sorry.
Sorry it's cancer season, okay? Let me live.
Sorry that it makes good content for y'all, I guess. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if it's happened with every single series that we've done so far? Oops. Mm. You know? Sorry that we care.
Whoopsie.
How are you doing, by the way? Welcome to cancer season.
I am... Welcome. Hello. I am beautifully surrounded by 2 adorable cats, and that's really helping me out. That's really a good boost of my life.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's nice. I kind of forget, and then, you hang out with them for an extended period of time, and I'm like, these are my fucking bros. These are my ladies. Like, even, especially ones that are, like, a little harder to warm up, right?
Oh.
And be like, but you're there for a couple days, and you're like, all right, I can get a little belly pet now. Let's go, Gotta earn it. I like it. I wanted to bring a show, surprise, surprise, everyone, that is, I don't know what's going on with me recommending, like, HGTV type programming, because that's
my spot.
Historically not my vibe. Yeah, that's your place. I don't live there. That's not, I'm like a visitor, I'm not really like, that's not my truth. But this is a show that I've seen literally no one watch or talk about.
Okay.
And it does have a very famous lead in it.
Okay.
And that is Tyler Cameron from the Bachelor-universe. And he has a home improvement show called Tyler Cameron Going Home, or Going Home with Tyler Cameron, I believe is the actual proper title. It's on Amazon. It's been there for months. Nobody's fucking watched this show outside of me. But it's like genuinely very endearing, because I always like him from the Bachelor-universe, because he's kind of like, the dudes there are not good, right? So the bar is incredibly low.
Right.
And especially what they do after the fact, it's always like, but he seems like a genuinely, like, chill kind of guy, and, like, not an asshole, and not an idiot,
That's
like,
rare.
It's rare, yeah. And, like, he was on that Special Forces show with JoJo Siwa, which was wild. But he has this show on Amazon that's, like, him in his hometown of Jupiter, Florida, just doing, like, remodeling and renovation, and, like, trying to start his own company and follow in his dad's footsteps of being, like, a general contractor type beat. And it's, like, emotional, ? And it's, like, really good, ? But I'm, like, genuinely touched and moved by most of these episodes. And, like, he talks about his relationship, because his mom, I guess, passed away a couple years ago. And he was like, oh, I was gonna, like, make sure the title of the house was in her name and, like, redo it for her. And then she passed away very suddenly.
No.
Before that could happen. And it's that whole thing is, like, underlining the whole thing of, like, this tragic, like, coming back to your roots and going back to your family and, like, starting this phase in your life and still, like, remodeling this house for you and for everyone else, and doing all these things. And it's, like, emotional as fuck, but it's very cute. And some of the designs it's very Florida, the designs, for sure. But it's fun. And heartbreaking sometimes, but fun time.
Wow. I'm looking at this man. He wears a lot of hats.
He does. There's a lot of hats. Gotta protect yourself from those UV rays, baby.
Wow. Okay. All right. You've hooked me. I wasn't expecting there to be an emotional beat with this. I thought it was just going to be man and construction.
Literally, me too. Like, even my familiarity with this man, I was like, this just looks like, and especially the way they market it, it's like, oh, this is hot, sexy guy from The Bachelor who's gonna be shirtless and do some, construction in a sexy, super cut way. But it's like, and I rewatched it, it's like, this is like a very harrowing, emotional journey about friendship and love and family and finding yourself after tragic events. And I was like, what the fuck? Tyler Cameron and Amazon, what are we doing? What?
Okay. All right. Interesting. Maybe it's because he got it on Amazon that people, because I didn't even know about this, and this is very much my shit.
Yeah, I think I looked on my little TV logging app, which doesn't have, like, the most amount of users, so take it with a grain of salt. But I logged that I watched it, and I think there were, like, 3 other users on the entire app that said they had watched this show in its entirety. So, the marketing needs maybe a little bit more going on for it, and I won't do it for Amazon, but I will do it for Tyler Cameron, because I think he seems like a sweetie pie.
That's so rare in the Bachelor-universe, too.
Completely.
All right, Tyler. You seem like not a douche.
Yeah.
So let's keep it that way.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, though. You're on thin ice, regardless, all the time. Just by being a man in the Bachelor universe, but...
I mean, in theory, right, if he wants to be a general contractor, like, I feel like it's so rare nowadays for home improvement shows for someone to actually be credentialed and not to be like, I just like the aesthetic, I'm gonna have a design show. So if you're a union man, hell yeah, I'll support you.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Tyler Cameron, let's go.
How are you doing, my friend?
Oy, I'm alive. I'm here.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I just want you all to know, I want the class to know, that it is taking everything in me to not recommend a dropout production this week. So you're welcome.
Dude, they made it so hard this week. Are you kidding? I'm gnawing at the walls right now.
I know. So you're welcome. And again, we will make it so explicitly clear if we are ever sponsored. This is just because we both genuinely fucking watch their products. Yeah. My happy thing this week is a Troy video.
Yes.
That I've been recently going back through some of his videos that I somehow missed.
Sure.
And he he recently covered Phoebe Bridgers' debut album, Stranger in the Alps, which I try not to listen to. Sure, not because it is not reasons. For exactly for mental health reasons,
for
right?
Self-preservation.
Because if you have listened to Stranger in the Alps, you might know that the people around you might only listen to it if it's like, oh, you're down bad, right? Like, are you good kind of thing. But I'm bringing this as a happy thing because Stranger in the Alps is genuinely an amazing debut album. And Troy covering it made it a little bit easier to go back into and listen because we've got goofs and gaffs and happy things to kind of buffer the fucking pain of Phoebe in this album. So it's a twofold, right? Stranger in the Alps is an unbelievably amazing thing that does bring me joy and happiness, even though it's just like, I try not to listen to it often anymore. But it does weirdly remind me of like late summer evenings in the way of like, I don't know, the pain of what I was feeling when it first came out in like 2017 of just like getting off from a retail shift at like almost 10 o'clock at night and being like, damn, this sucks. But Troy covers it and him trying to make jokes before going into listening to Funeral for the first time and just truly crumbling was naturally cathartic because homeboy will cry at almost anything, which I truly appreciate about him. But there's a moment in the song with Funeral where she's like, Jesus Christ, I'm so blue. And he's like, bitch, you're blue. While he's just, tears are streaming down his face. So if you, class, have also avoided Stranger in the Alps for a couple of years for your mental well-being, but would like some laughs, Troy, or H.T. Hayes online, recently listened to that album for the first time. He apparently had listened to Punisher before this.
Oh, interesting.
And had obviously listened to Boy Genius, but hadn't listened to the debut album before. And so he's like, oh shit, now I have context for some of this stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. So it's a little bit of a buffer from some of the pain of, I personally had a couple of years ago taken Scott Street off some of my playlists because it's like, hey, I know when I listen to this, my therapist is like, you good? Yeah.
Monitoring that Spotify page expeditiously.
Right, exactly. But if you want to enjoy good art, but not send yourself down a rabbit hole of pain, I think this is a good way to balance that out.
I love that. Yeah, you got to have a little bit of both, you know? Little breaks, little fluid stuff. I love it. Also, sidebar, is your YouTube in Spanish?
No, it was just the first image that came up.
Okay, I thought you were just taking a screenshot, and I was like, okay, you're just really committing to
It's a valid question, because a lot of my ads in Peacock are still in Spanish for me, for no reason.
That's true. Yeah, I was wondering if that was still happening to you during your Housewives rewatch.
Right now I'm getting a lot of Home Depot ads on Peacock that are in Spanish. And honestly, like, it's a really good immersion technique. I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
All of my settings are set, like, my audio is in English, but for some reason it's clocked me as, like, we can just give you these ads and it'll be fine.
Yeah. It's like, I'll take the free immersive lessons.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Whatever. But no, I think that's a valid question to be like, yeah, does Allie, is her YouTube in Spanish? Because, like, it might be. It could have been.
Yeah, right. It could have been. Yeah, I think it's a fair assumption.
That's a valid question to ask.
Yeah.
We have no current events today, so don't ask. Nothing important. Nothing important into the Twilight world, or also the world in general, has happened, so don't fucking ask about it, alright?
Right. Everything's fine.
Everything's just fucking fine, alright? My Apple Watch...
good.
My Apple Watch has not been giving me notifications that my heart rate's high. It's fine, alright?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Everything's great. Alright, so last week, we learned that, from the journals, we got extra, we unlocked, like a video game, some more of Jonathan Gilbert's fucking journals. We learned that Stefan, when he was a newborn vampire, went bloke mode and tried to ruin Elena Gilbert's bloodline, not realizing that Jonathan Gilbert had a extra HP ring. He was like, got you. I'm still alive, bitch.
You thought.
You thought. And also last week, very important for this week, Bonnie's powers got zapped. Because she tried to do a once over on Luca, and Luca's dad was like, don't touch my son.
Yeah. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
That's my boy.
Jonas was like, absolutely don't touch my son. And she was like, heard, chef. Got it. I don't know what I'm going to do without powers, but got you.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So I thought this episode was going to be funny, Cody. It was not funny, Cody.
Not funny. There were no laughs to be had. Well, I mean...
There were a couple. Quick
yeah,
laughs.
there's a handful of laughs, but for the most part, it was a pre-bummer city over here.
On the plus side, they did remember, like, Elena remembered for a second anyways that she was supposed to go to school.
Right. Yeah, we did see a remembrance of an acknowledgement of education, which is key here.
It's
We've
important.
lost that. It's important, yeah. Every once in a while, I gotta be like, hey, remember these are teenagers. Can we just pretend that they're going to school?
I mean, it's supposed to be like Elena, Bonnie, Caroline, and Stefan's senior year. So in theory, they should be going.
Yeah. Like, I just can't. I know that school has not been an important part of this show literally ever, but, like, especially just the timeline of them being, like, in a very intense part of that. It's like, are we talking about college? Like, is everyone not stressing the fuck out of here? I know there's, like, a lot of existential things happening as far as, like, sacrifices and vampires and werewolves, but also, what's going on?
Yeah, we didn't see Elena last year take the
How's your
SATs.
attendance record, Elena? Like, what? Yeah.
We didn't see Elena apply to colleges.
No.
So, I mean, granted, she should be applying to colleges, like, now, because it's, like, football season. But,
yeah.
Granted, she is in very much, like, sacrifice mode with the whole, like,
yeah,
class
she's not really
thing.
focusing on her future, yeah, right now.
So maybe that's not a priority for any of them, but...
Sure, yeah.
You would think at least trying to keep up appearances might be helpful.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the event in the town this week being live music?
That was where a few of the laughs came this episode. Some reprieve a
Same.
little bit, because the fucking, like, I guess the grill is not doing so great, which is wild because it's the only restaurant.
It's the only restaurant.
Town.
So
it's
what
the
do you
only
mean?
restaurant they have. So true, like, naturally, I feel like they'd be fine, but I guess not. So they're like, oh, it'd be really sick when bring people in live music. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of music? What if we had a band play and people watched them and then also got beers and burgers? Genius. $1 million idea. Absolutely love it.
If the grill isn't doing well, granted, right, like, this is supposed to be the recession time, so maybe things aren't going well in general, but that place is busy all hours of the day. If the grill isn't doing well, we're cooked. We're
right. Like, like, this is a national emergency.
Yeah.
Like, y'all need to figure.
You need to call the
out
governor, because what do you mean?
Yeah, we need some infrastructure built into here. What's going on?
You know what I mean, though? Like we need someone needs to open the national emergency binder, because, like, what the fuck? I miss, first of all, I love this, but, like, I miss when TV had bands. Like, when that was the episode.
Yeah.
It was like, we're going to bring in a band.
Yeah, gonna play real music.
I loved it. I thought that it was great. It was cheesy, and I love cheese. So it's great.
And Carolyn's fucking diva moment. Like, the way that she's navigating vampire stuff, obviously very tragic and sad and whatever.
It is.
But I think she's the only one that's doing it right. Correctly. Because all these bozos are, like, not using their spidey senses, barely compulsing people for things that are useful or interesting. They're just self-flagellating themselves and doing nothing while everyone else has to, like, do the work without any of the powers. But Carolyn is in here and being like, hey, I kind of want to have a rock star moment.
One of my favorite lines this episode.
This band to A, let me sing, and also B, play backup for me while I do that, while I sing a very, like, intensely vampire coded love song to, you know, my boyfriend, not boyfriend. Incredible. That's how you should be using these powers. This is what you need to do as a vampire.
100%.
If you have compulsion, do it for fun, silly goofs, like having a very dramatic, like, Lizzie McGuire moment.
And because it's Caroline, it didn't come off as something weird or out of character for her, because Caroline is Miss Barbie who does everything. Right. Like, of course, Caroline would know how to sing and would be comfortable on stage. So nobody in the crowd was like, what do you mean? Like, this seems out of character for her. Yeah. They're just like, oh, that's Miss Girl.
That's Miss Girl. And then, you know, listen, she works so hard. And she's planning all these events almost all the time. And just give her a break. Let her have her moment. Let her have her diva moment. Okay? Is that allowed?
I know that we have merch that says fuck Mike Newton. And that still stands, and that's still valid.
Sure.
I propose fuck Matt. And I've said this from the beginning because one, he's boring. Right, and he has been from the jump. So boring. But this motherfucker, to see Caroline, who's great and beautiful and living her truth, to be up there who's singing, and weirdly is, like, good.
Right.
To be like, wow, this girl is confessing her love to me. You know what I should do? Instead of just letting her have her moment and have everyone applaud for her and do that and then kiss her, I'm gonna fucking interrupt her while she's singing.
The nerve.
And take that moment from her. Yeah. This man...
Tomato. I hate men.
Exactly. Maybe he should have been stabbed with that glass by Jonas. Maybe it was coming.
And the nerve, too, of, like, her feeling comfortable enough to be like, hey, this is, like, something that's going on in my life. It's a little spooky. It's a little freaky deaky. But I think, like, you've been chasing me, and, like, you want me to make the decision here, and, like, I'm just gonna have to be open and honest with you. And he's like, oh, I'm scared now. That's too much information. It's like, grow up. Fuck off. Are you kidding? You kidding? Caroline finally had the guts to be like, okay, I can let someone in, and I'm making a choice, and I'm not gonna, like, talk myself out of not having the things I want because of the thing I am.
Right.
And you go and be like, I gotta get out of here. I'm scared. Fuck off. Get out of here. Are you kidding?
And the first thing that you jump to, it was a logical connection for him to be like, wait, my sister wasn't making up vampires. But then you little duns thought Caroline was the one who made her a vampire or killed her.
Right.
I need you to expand your mind for a second.
Yeah, we're making a lot of assumptions at the jump here. Maybe we have a conversation before we accuse people of murder.
It's just, I just need you to take it down like 6 notches, Matt.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing, is what it is.
Yeah. Doing too much. And you don't deserve to be taking up all this oxygen in here.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's embarrassing. Yeah. And I don't even care about your storyline anyways, so you need to chill out.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Were there any other moments that you felt like made you laugh before we talk about sad stuff?
Yeah, before we talk about... something I did note down that was a little LOL to me was... So, and we'll get to the sad stuff about this, but Jenna's whole situation is tough. But when she's at the grill... and Rick is trying to be like, hey babe, I'm sorry, we had a fight, let's, talk about it. And she's like, sorry, I can't talk, I'm hanging out with Senor Tequila right now. It's like, excuse me? What? And he's like, I don't think that'll do you any good. And she's like, wow, you guys have so much in common, you and Senor Tequila. It's like, what is happening?
Have we ever gotten a confirmed age on her, by the way?
I don't think so. Like, we did find out, or I guess she said that she was in grad school, like, a year before, or before, like, the parents stuff, Elena's parents thing. But I don't assuming... you can go to grad school at any age, so I don't really know.
I keep assuming that she's in her 30s, just because, like, if she was in her 20s, that would be buck wild.
Yeah.
And also, Nina and Paul and Ian are in, like, they would have casted someone who looked like a teenager for that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can go to grad school at any age, I guess.
Yeah, you can be a grad student and, quote, smoke a lot of pot at any age.
Right.
But I would imagine she's probably on the younger side of things.
Right.
But not, like, a lot. Yeah.
Their relationship also, very similar to last episode, it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
There was a moment Rick said earlier in the episode when they were still at school where he was talking to Elena, and, like, I thought it was honorable that he was like, listen, I can't be with Jenna until I can tell her the truth.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. It was just the whole... Yeah. The way that they got to the grill, the fact that that Elena, Caroline, and Bonnie were having this, like, fake girls' night.
Yeah.
to try and, like, cheer Jenna up, that I was like, I hate this.
Yeah. I'd be like, how about we just go... And I love too that they're like, oh my god, what movie should we watch? Should we get pizza or Chinese food? Oh my god. And then Jenna's coming in looking so depressed and so sad. And they're like, oh, do you need to, like, cheer up? And she's like, you're definitely doing this to trick me. And they're like, no, we're just having a girls' night. Like, you're definitely one of the girls that we totally hang out with all the time. And you're not, like, essentially Elena's mother figure. We're girlies for sure. Let's watch live music and dance. We need to dance. It's like, okay.
It's
be so serious.
It's not the first time that Elena has been in a parent position. It just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Especially at the end. I think it was Elena had, like, come down and Jenna was eating Kroger ice cream. And before they saw Miss Elward show up at the door. So,
God.
I mean, I'm glad that she's back, because we were asking about her.
Yeah, and also, like, the whole, oh my god, we're so besties, Jenna, like, I love you so much, we talk to each other all the time for sure, like, obviously falls very flat very quickly when Isabella's there, and Elena, like, says, it's like, oh, hey, mom, and it's like, hey, how about we Like, think about how much Jenna knows about this situation. And
the fact that, like, we know.
Like, oh yeah, Rick is talking shit. Like, now it's like, okay, you know everything, that she is, like, alive and all these things. And she's like, oh my god, maybe, like, give Rick the benefit of the doubt or something. I think that was Caroline who was like, in his defense, like, you know, he might just be keeping something from you that's, like, really, really, really bad and scary. And just being like that whole door moment, it's like, you're blowing all of your covers. Like, come on.
And the fact that, like, we know Jenna's never there.
Yeah. Right.
So it's all an act, but whatever. The only other thing that I think made me laugh this episode was Catherine, who was, for the most part, a comedic element.
Yes.
And I appreciated her. There was a moment, I think, that Elena had said early on of when Stefan and her were walking into school of like, oh, we're having a girls' night. Maybe I should invite Catherine. And like, can you imagine?
Well, here's my girl.
Here's my girl. We're ops, but I need to keep her around. The moments of Catherine interacting with Damon, of them like, they were like petty slapping each other over the journals and her like peeking over his shoulder to read. Nina just carried this episode, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, even starting out with Catherine pretending to be Elena at the start to go to school and Damon choking her it's so good. Nina, you're so good at acting. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. It's incredible. And also the fact, too, that, I can't remember if it was Damon or Stefan being like, yeah, she's getting, like, super good at, cosplaying Elena, so be fucking ready. Like, be hyper vigilant. They've
gone from, like, hating her to just, I mean, that's still there, but just being fully annoyed by her, which I appreciate. Yeah,
because they need her, and also she's there. And so it's like, okay, I guess we have to just, like, deal with her now and just be annoyed. It's very good stuff.
I love it. I love it so much. How did you feel, by the way, about Catherine and Damon talking about when Catherine was like, oh, I knew you would die, by the way?
That fucking took me out. Because this whole thing is like, you know, she's always going to choose Stefan, right? Like, that's kind of the larger thing. Everyone, all of Elena and Catherine and their lookalikes are going to choose Stefan over Damon. He's like, man, I can't even catch I'm catching strays left and right. Like, this is fucked up. And her being like, yeah, you know, I knew what was going to happen, so sorry about it. But also still having this, like, very horny, like, situation happening between them a little bit, of her being like, what if we just, like, you know, did some stuff in this bed or whatever? What if we just, like, hung out here? Like, I'll still, like, you know, whatever. And Damon's so annoyed and trying to, you know, hold his boner down. Being like, there are 7,000 bedrooms in this house. Choose any one of them and get out of mine. It's like, okay, all right, bud.
That interaction I found really interesting because there was been a couple of episodes where it felt like the writers were trying to make Catherine deviate from what we love of, like, Catherine's only in it for herself to being, oh, I love Stefan and I are endgame, which is not interesting. Right. Catherine is at her best when she just cares about herself.
Yeah.
And so getting that information of her saying, like, of course I knew you would die. Getting offered this deal from John and Isabel. And it was like, I gotta choose between you and your brother once again, because it always is this. But I don't care, because, like, it meant I would get out of that tomb. I'm in it for myself, always and forever. I was like, thank God we're back to the Catherine that I care about.
Like, properly just fucking with these dudes and doing her own shit.
Yes.
As the Lord intended.
And being able to see her essentially not stuck, right? But staying in this house and trying to figure out where the location of the witch massacre is, which, by the way, they're trivializing that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised, because Damon does not care about witches. And that's very clear this episode. But, like, 100 witches were killed in one spot. That's a shit ton of energy. So, of course, Elijah was trying to find that location. And it's very clear that Catherine's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just trying to help you. Let me find that location. And Damon's like, fuck you. I've been screwed over by you so many times.
Like, I'm so tired.
I'm not going to get set up by you again. I will say, I was surprised for a moment. I thought his spidey senses were going to work when Luca astral projected in.
Yes.
Because he did look over to where Luca was.
Yeah.
But then he was like, oh, too much effort.
Yeah, let's not worry about that right now.
But it very much feels like a choice, because Catherine found Luca out.
Yeah.
Damon did not. Yeah. I think he's just tired. I think he does not want to put the energy in.
Yeah. Embarrassing. God, these dudes. Useless.
They're so useless. I'm curious, though, about that scene with... Because Catherine somehow came out of it, I mean, injured, but fairly unscathed.
Yeah.
Luca's Gone Girl, which, rip, I did like him.
Yeah. He was... And we're also, like, getting to a point where it was, like, getting interesting. Like, I could see the through line here of the Bonnie stuff and all these other, like, relationships, and his own positioning in things. And then it's like, what if we just killed him instead? It's like, fuck. Okay, now it's like, okay, we have angry dad now. It's like, okay, that's gonna be the reaction, of course. And now we're in this other kind of lane, which is like, not as interesting, but whatever.
And it hurts so much, when at the start of the episode, Stefan and Bonnie met up with Luca and Jonas and were like, listen, Elijah's dead. We should work together. Like, there was an opportunity for them to collaborate, and because Catherine got involved, it all got fucked up. And Luca did not need to die, and Jonas didn't need to die.
Right.
Catherine was involved with both of their deaths, and each time Stefan was like, listen, this does not need to happen. We don't need to do this. And Catherine was like, fuck this. Like, and it just makes me sad, because I liked their story. Initially, I was suspicious, but by this, especially by last episode, I was very interested in them and where it was going. And I wanted them to be able to collaborate, and now we just don't have them anymore. And that sucks.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. Jonas was so mad for complete reasons. Like, he does not have his daughter. Luca did not need to die in that moment, and he completely blamed himself for it. Like, damn, you know?
Yeah, jeez Louise.
And Bonnie almost didn't get out of the grill in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which was scary. I feel bad. I didn't want them to have to go. But I'm not surprised based on what I know about the show and the way that they treat Black characters. Mm-hmm. Annoying and rude and also racist.
Yeah, objectively so.
Objectively. I am curious about how you felt about Jer and Bonnie this episode.
Jer and Bonnie, they're here. They're living. I thought it was interesting at the school moment where, Bonnie's still, like, a little nervous. She's like, we're in public. We can't be smooching out here, There's people around. And Jeremy's like, come on. Like, please. I'm cool and adult and awesome and sexy. And which is LOL. And Bonnie basically kind of getting Elena's blessing. And finally having that conversation.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, so would you be mad if I dated your brother? And Elena's just like, you're into my brother? you know? Like, okay. But it was very sweet of her being like, you know, he deserves the world, and like, you're pretty great, and he would be lucky to have someone like you, so whatever. And also, I think more Elena's just like, I don't give a fuck about anything right now. Like, her mind is not really in the right places all the time right now. So I think she's like, fucking whatever. Let's add another thing. Right. And be happy, whatever. Just, I can't even think and process this right now because I'm thinking about my own mortality and everything crumbling around me. But go off. Have fun, kiddos.
I know that doesn't need to happen, right? Like,
right.
Elena doesn't need to give her blessing in this. Bonnie can do whatever the fuck she wants because she's great.
Sure. Yeah. Can do no wrong.
She can do no wrong. But I know that she wanted it for
Yeah.
her own comfort in that moment. And it seemed like it made her feel better. I'm glad that she got her powers back. It also seemed like she got the location from Jonas at the end, even though that moment scared the fuck out of me, to be honest. I was not expecting Jonas to lean up the way that he did. It was very startling. But I'm curious, because I know that we have like 6 episodes left of this season. It seems like the way that the season's gone so far, they're mapping this out like the sacrifice is going to happen at the end of this. I'm just not sure. And now that we know that Bonnie's powers are back, we have the location, and Isabel's here. I don't know if John is still around because he wasn't here this episode. I'm curious what you're thinking. I mean, it obviously seems like Elijah is going to come back at some point. Because he just needs the dagger out, and apparently the dagger is fireproof, whatever that means. I'm curious what your thinking is of like how John and Isabel play into this, because that's the part that I can't figure out right now.
Yeah, I'm confused as to what connection they would have to this. Maybe there's like beef with like Isabel and Elijah or something, or like there's like long storied things there. Maybe that might be like a confrontation that needs to happen or something. I don't know. I am unsure. But hey, we're getting to see our L word Jenny Schechter once again on our screens, and she's gonna do some stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go wild with it.
I think it is more so if they have enough leverage to make a deal with Catherine, then Catherine takes them seriously. I'm just wondering personally, it's like they're the parents, the biological parents anyways, of the doppelganger. Does that give them status of some sort?
Right, like are they considered like I don't know what the word would be, but you know, like a higher plane kind of vibe. Yeah,
do they have some sort of like hierarchy or whatever? I don't know.
Something in their blood, I don't know, like that they conceived the doppelganger. Like, maybe there's like something, you know, a weird back and forth thing there.
Because I get Klaus, I get Elijah, and then we have everyone here at play that I've figured out. It's John and Isabel that I don't understand, and then I'm still unclear right now if the werewolves are going to come back at the sacrifice and like really fuck everything up.
Yeah.
That I'm unsure of at this point. But everything else, compared to last season, I feel like I understand a little bit more about how these episodes are going to start to play out.
Oh, yeah.
Which is either a good sign, because I'm starting to get their number, or I'm going the completely wrong direction. And I'm going to be surprised at some point. Which I'm nervous about. Next episode is episode 17, Know Thy Enemy. And we got 2 dark-haired baddies back at the cemetery again.
Back, it just feels right, you know?
It does.
Back to our roots.
Seeing Elena in her Converse this episode, I was like, wow, we really are back. We're at it again.
We've never been more. Yeah.
It was very nice to see. We have some amazing patrons. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashton Vogel.
Oh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Pew pew. Thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Pew 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 pew.
I have a fanfiction for you from the author badboy_fangirl.
Fuck, yes. Love it.
It is titled At Last, Regret. And the summary is Catherine's last kiss with Damon in 1864.
Get out of here.
There are no chapters in this. It is all just one honkin' thing. Catherine, we should leave. Leave now, he whispers urgently. She assumes the haughty posture of a true Southern belle and whispers condescendingly, I know what I'm doing, Damon. You have to trust me. We will leave when the time is right, and it is not right now. Catherine. She silences him with a kiss because who knows how long this could go on, and Stefan is waiting for her. They have been doing this for months, and now, secret clandestine meetings, sex in her bed with Emily standing guard, and stolen moments all over the mansion and its grounds. She has Damon well trained. He is a generous and expert lover thanks to her guidance, but he is still as green as grass in spite of it. His caresses are tempered with an all-consuming love, and he would never dream of being rough with her. Even though he has watched her rip open necks with her teeth and kissed her bloody mouth, he is still a gentleman with her at all times. But here, in this musty little closet, as she's about to go all dally with his brother, his lips open over hers differently. His tongue thrusts forward into her mouth, and his hands come up to grip her head fiercely. He kisses her like it'll be the last time, like he will never touch her again. When he pulls away, she is not only surprised, but almost painfully aroused. She whispers, "Save that for tomorrow, darling," as she slips out of the closet. He stays there, as is their general rule, to wait at least 5 minutes before following in case of impertinent eyes who might whisper about their behavior. A few minutes later, she undresses for Stefan, but it is Damon's touch that is in her mind as she sinks her teeth into her brother's neck. End scene.
Damn. Okay.
As the noted prophet said, she really does have the best of both worlds.
What can't she do?
For real. Well, my friends, I am very nervously continuing with the rest of this season. But until then, apparently I have a fantastic construction show to start watching that I'm very excited about. So I will now be meeting Tyler Cameron until we meet again.
We're gonna go home with Tyler Cameron.
And his
Get ready.
His massive arms. Well, friends, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
Get big.
ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/IntoTheTwilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.